Hi, this is Dr. Scott Hoar with Mobility for Life Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. And today we're doing part 2 with the fit golfer girl. This is Carolina Romero. Last week we treated her neck and shoulder issues, and it came out, she mentioned that she was having lots of issues with her ankles, actually, and that she's had very limited ankle motion for your whole life?
Forever.
For her whole life. And it really impacts her golf swing and a lot of the different movements she does. And, you know, she's a fitness professional. So if you want to be able to squat and move normally, you want to have proper motion through your ankles. So tell us a little bit, Carolina, number one, about how it went last week, what changes you noticed during the week, and then we'll get into your ankles.
All right. Well, I felt great. I wasn't really sore at all. I know you warned me that I might have been a little sore, but I wasn't. The neck felt amazing. In fact, this whole week has been really loose. You know, it hasn't tightened up like it used to.
Great.
And I've been doing my exercises, and I really like them. In fact, I really feel a difference every time I do them. So
that's awesome.
I know, I'm excited.
That's awesome. And that's exactly the point, that you can actually feel and appreciate the differences that we're looking to make. Now, particularly, tell us about your ankles and how long, first of all, what is the issue with the ankles?
Well, my ankles are extremely tight. You know, I have no dorsiflexion.
Okay.
And the reason this happened is because when I was a little girl, ever since I could walk, I've always walked on my toes. Now it's not so bad, but when I was little, it was really bad. Like, I literally always walked on my toes.
Right.
Not walking on my toes was painful. So I always did, and, you know, my parents went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh, she'll outgrow it. And I honestly didn't really outgrow it until I was, like, in my late teens.
Okay.
So
interesting.
It got really, really, really tight.
Okay.
And now that I'm a fitness professional and I understand the role of dorsiflexion in so many movements, including the golf swing, now I know that that has been the reason my golf swing is the way it is, and I've made some mistakes for such a long time, and I couldn't correct them.
So it limits, the stiffness in your ankles limits your golf swing?
It does.
And it makes you compensate?
It does.
How?
So for golfers out there, I early extend, which means that I lose my ankles during the swing.
Right.
So you will see me swing. I have a little bit of a jump, which is actually common, but I basically run out of space. I run into my own body because I am unable to keep my butt back through impact. So I just move forward through impact, run into myself, and that causes me to come over the top and hook it, and just all kinds of horrible problems.
So you certainly do not have the consistency with your swing and with your golf performance because of the compensations that are forced from the limitations in your ankle.
Yeah, and for the longest time before I understood how the body works, I thought it was just like, well, you have to fix it, learn how to swing right. And then when I started to understand the impact that that has had on my body and my swing, I realized that I just can't physically do it.
Yeah.
It's like literally impossible for my body to move the way that my instructors want me to move, because it's just not possible.
Okay. And then, I don't know, how does that leave you feeling? You're a golf and fitness professional. Your expertise is moving well.
Yep.
and high performance, and you have this limitation.
Yeah, well, I am a big mobility person. You know, I am like the foam rolling queen and like the Theragun queen. I really believe in it, and I see the power of it in a daily basis. However, this has been an area that has never improved. It is extremely painful, and it also I don't never see any results. So I remember going to the doctor. The doctor told me there was literally nothing I could possibly do, that he would have to go in there and like cut part of the tendon to release it because it was just that bad.
Right.
So I kind of didn't like that answer, because I know that there is stuff I could possibly do, but I just kind of took that answer. I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
And I'll just find ways to compensate. You know, for example, at the gym, I know that there's movements like squatting that are just not good for me, because I will literally hinge my hips forward. Imagine doing that with a loaded barbell on your back.
Right.
It's just very dangerous. And when I was squatting consistently and heavy, I realized that my body just would not make any strength gains in that lift.
Right.
Because it just can't do it, right?
Right, and squat is such an important movement and the basis for so many performance and strength and conditioning. So if you're not able to do one of the most important exercises, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, and it's one of, you know, the TPI tests, you know, the overhead squat. So I am pretty good with every other test except for the overhead squat. I mean, it's not even normal. I failed that with like a -50.
Right. Okay. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to check out Carolina's ankles and if there's anything we can do to improve it so that there's less of an impact on her golf and fitness life. So we'll start with chiropractic first, then progressive rehabilitation to see what we can do today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a baseline of her ankle dorsiflexion, which is the motion that she mentioned is limited. So what we're going to have you do, Carolina, is keep your heel flat on the ground, and what I want you to do is move your knee as far forward as you can and hold it right there, and that's the angle of what she can accomplish right now. Okay, good. Good. Switch sides. So her knee wasn't exactly beyond her toe, and okay, and then what other movements do you notice it? You mentioned the squat, right?
Yeah, mostly the squat.
So stand up. Let's look at your squat.
Here we go.
All right.
Okay.
And I want you to put your hands overhead just so we kind of have a baseline and squat the way you would normally squat.
No, I don't squat. Just kidding.
Okay. All right. And do you notice how she's kind of tipping forward? That's that inability to keep a neutral upright spine, and it looks like the ankles could be a contributing factor here. Okay. And that was as deep as you could go.
Yeah, with my arm up.
Okay. All right. Good. So let's check that out and see what we can do. Okay. Do you feel that little restriction in there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we're going to get rid of it. Good. Okay, that's so you. That's so Carolina. Okay, you ready?
Premature cracker.
Okay. You feel it on that side too, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right there, let it. Good. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start by looking at her lumbar spine because the nerves that come out of her low back are the ones that control the ankles and the lower extremity. So we'll start right here. I'm going to push down like that. Don't let me do that. Ready, go. And again. All right, pretty strong. Other side, pushing here. Ready, go. Really strong. So a little bit weaker here, but I don't know if I want to do anything about it yet. Let's look at a couple other things first. So I'm going to be over here. I'm going to push down and out. Don't let me do that. Ready, go. That's pretty strong. And over here, ready, go. And again, that's just not as strong, is it? Okay, so I want you to turn on your side, face me. Help that. Can you turn your face towards me? Mm-hmm. Good. And I'll bring you over here. Good. All right, and I'm going to adjust, okay? Good. Lay on your back. No, your back. Perfect. I'm going to push down and out. Don't let me. Ready? Go. Very strong. Well, let's test that other weak one. Pushing here. Down. Ready? Go. Much stronger, huh? Good. So that was L3. Legs together. I'm going to pull just this leg towards me. Don't let me do that. Ready? Go. Again. Okay. Right here. Here, don't let me. Ready? Go. Good. And now this one. Again. That's definitely weaker, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Turn on your side, face that way. So we're going to get L4 here. And you know what? We ought to move you back here just a little bit. Good. Lay on your back. All right, legs together. I'm going to pull just this one towards me. Don't let me go. Definitely better, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Pushing down and in. Don't let me. Go. Good. Down and in. Don't let me. Again. Turn, face this way. Good. Hang your back. Pushing down and in. Don't let me go. Very good. Toes up. Pulling down, don't let me. Pulling down, don't let me. Good. Yep. All right. So, looks to me like the left one is a bit more limited than your right.
Yeah. Now that you do that, I can feel that.
Yeah? Okay. Your toe is limited, particularly on the, actually both. So your ankles and your toes are your big shock absorbers every single step you take. So if you don't have the flexibility in there, then that just opens the door to more stress on your heel, your calf, your knee, your hips, and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to do a couple of muscle tests here. So that's going to tell me what I need to address here. But certainly, can you see that on the camera? This is as far as she can dorsiflect, and I'm making sure her shin is neutral here. So that's just about 0 degrees, which you want about 30, 35 degrees. And over here, we have less than 0 degrees. So that's certainly room for improvement. Okay, so I'm going to do a muscle test. Hold your foot like this. I'm going to push down and out. Don't let me do that. Ready? Go. Good, that's pretty strong. Now I want you to point and, yep, hold it right there. I'm going to push from right there. Don't let me. Go. Rock solid. Very good. Relax. Okay, we'll bring it up and in like this. I'm going to push from right there. Don't let me. Ready? Go. That was a little bit weak, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little.
Okay, so that's your tibialis anterior muscle. And now, put it right here. I'm going to push right there. Don't let me. Go. And that's a little bit weak too. Okay, so there's a couple of joints in here that we're going to look at. So, yeah, there's a little bit of noise. Good. 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 Okay. Foot here and here. I'm going to pull down. Don't let me. Go. Still a little bit weak there. Okay. Going to do another adjustment here. Let this go. Good. I'm going to yank on your foot here a little bit, okay? Good. Okay. A little bit of progress there. Good. Your heel everts pretty nicely. All right, one last thing where I'm going to yank on your foot pretty good here, okay? Let it loose all the way. Perfect. Good. Okay. So, you want to come right over here and see now the range of motion is certainly so that's pretty good. Her toe extension's a little bit limited.
That does not feel good.
No.
When you push down.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel good.
Yes. These treatments do not always feel good.
It's just uncomfortable. No painful.
Good. All right, let's do the other side now. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do those muscle tests again. So let's bring it up and out. Hold it right there. I'm going to push from right here. Don't let me. Good. And then point out. Push them from here. Don't let me. Very good. Point in. Good. I'm going to push from right here. Don't let me. Go. That's certainly weak, huh? And then up in here. Push them from here. Don't let me. Go. Okay. Relax. Kind of sticks up right there, doesn't it? Okay. So, good. So that was that joint, that first metatarsal right there. So we're going to point here, and I'm going to push from right there. Don't let me. Much stronger, isn't it? Let's try this one. Hold it right there. Push from here. Way stronger. Okay. I like it. And this heel doesn't like to evert as much. Okay. So I use a speeder board which has a drop mechanism so that when I thrust into her foot, her ankle in this instance, any excessive force or shock that I put into the joint gets absorbed by the board, so it makes it a little bit more comfortable on her. Good. And now her heel's moving a little bit better. Good. All right, and then I'm going to yank on you from here, okay? Hold onto the table, would you, so you don't slide? But at the same time, relax your foot as much as possible, which isn't easy to do. Good. There we go. And so now, her ankle... range of motion is a couple degrees better than 0. So we're happy with that. Okay, so the chiropractic treatment with Carolina went really well. She had a number of segments from her lumbar spine, which is her lower back, that weren't exactly firing the way we want them to. So we got those going with the adjustments. As well, there was plenty of restriction and imbalance in her foot. We got a number of cavitations and big pops, which people like hearing, but what really matters is we're activating the proper joint motion and control of the foot. So I'm very interested to see what kind of improvements we'll get during the progressive rehabilitation. It is very difficult when somebody has had limited range of motion in their ankle for seemingly their entire life to get quick results. I'm not really expecting drastic changes here out of one visit, but I'm excited to see what we're able to do here. All right, so Carolina, what I want you to do, I want you to hug your right knee to your chest. Good. And what you're going to do in a second is you're going to raise your butt up off the floor. And what we want is stability and control, the ability to keep your spine neutral and protected while you extend through your hip. So how we see if you have stability is you're going to raise your butt up off the floor. You're going to hold up right here. Yeah, just like that, but relax. I'm still yapping. And while you hold up there, I'm going to bully you around. Now, there's two possible outcomes here. Number one, you have good control and stability. It looks like this. Number two, you have poor stability. It will look like this. So don't let me do that.
And just before we even start, I can feel the restriction already. So you have me out here. There's just no way it's going to happen. I have to move it way back.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Raise. So we would not call this stable, would we?
No.
Okay, relax. Now let's try something, okay? I'm going to push. No, I'm going to have you push. So I want you to push like this, okay? So perform what my hand is, and then with your leg, you're going to fight against that.
Yeah.
So she's pushing out into her hand. There's kind of a tug of war happening between her hand and her thigh. So you got that going on. Good. Now raise your butt up off the floor. Hold it right there. And there you go. You can see she's much, much more stable with her spine and core, meaning she can maintain good alignment while moving her body. So this is going to be a good exercise for you. So why don't you give me 10 reps of that right now. So, at Mobility for Life, we believe the power to heal is within you. Okay, so we're going to see if there's anything we can do versus cutting and surgery that can actually improve this. So the first exercise we're going to look at we call toesies, which is our own made-up name for this. But what I want to see you do, Carolina, is let's imagine my hand is your feet. What we're going to do is you're going to push down with your big toe, and then while continuing to push down, you're going to raise up your other 4 toes. And then you're going to push down with all 4 toes, and then you're going to try to extend your big toe up as far as you can.
Okay, what about my heel? Is it down?
I want your heel down the whole time.
All right, so right side.
So let's just do, let's do 1.
That's as far as I'll go.
Which one are we doing?
This one.
Okay, and so you're
Pushing down.
you're down with the 4, and you try to go up.
No, I'm actually pushing down with the big one and try and go up with the other.
Okay, and it won't go.
No.
So look at that control. Her feet are just not moving. She is attempting to lift these, and nothing's happening at all. Okay, and now go down with all 4 and try to raise this up.
That's all I can
it ain't doing it, right? All right, so now we cheat, okay?
Right.
So what I want you to do is push down with all 4, and now try to lift this up, and it's not happening. Keep that heel down. I'm going to help you cheat. So it gets a little bit of motion, and now try to hold it for a sec, and reset. Down with all 4, and up. And you can do this on your own, Carolina. Try to keep that heel down. Good. Reset. Down with all 4 and raise up. Okay. So this just kind of shows you how inadequate her foot function and muscular activity is. You should have independent control and movement of your big toe versus the other toes. And it's very common for people as we age to lose it. And you know, Carolina is not old at all. So this is not an old age thing. This is just inadequate control of her foot. And you know, the foot's right next to the ankle. So this is an important part of what's wrong and what's missing. And yes, they are inadequate.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you're sentenced to a lifelong inadequacy with that. But you want to work at these sorts of exercises to start improving it. And what you're going to notice if you do this just in the evenings, like I said, kind of messing around, over the next coming days and weeks, you'll start to notice degrees of improvement. But you know, this is not one of those exercises you can be type A with and expect to just try really hard and get great results. But I just wanted to introduce that to you, is really try to restore the movement into her ankle. So Carolina, have you ever done eccentric strength training? So we're going to do this for your calf. So what I want you to do is raise your heels up as high as you can. Good. And now what you're going to do is slowly lower the heel as far as you can. Go for it. And what we're doing here is we're starting to restore dorsiflexion into her ankles. And now back up. And again. Yeah, go slower than that.
Let's try again.
And what I'm doing here is I'm actually going to apply a little bit of overforce at the bottom. So what we did was we did chiropractic first, where we pressed some reset buttons on her foot joints, her lumbar spine, her hips. Then what we did was a couple of exercises to start retraining her motor control, aka her posture and how she controls and moves her body. So she's starting to restore, raise up, and slowly down. She's starting to restore a little bit of that motion in her ankles. And now what we're going to do, once she's done, is we're going to reassess to see, has that actually made a difference? Good. Okay, so let's go right into that kneeling position where you're facing out here. And we're going to see if you can go further. So go as far as you can. Good. And now switch sides. And drop as far. Okay, so we did the chiropractic first, then we did the progressive rehabilitation. On the table, while I was actually doing the chiropractic treatment, I could definitely appreciate an improvement in her range of motion in her ankle. The exercises were certainly a struggle because she's not used to controlling her ankle and her foot and her toes very much. So she's going to repetitively to actually make lasting differences here. Carolina, how did you feel after the treatment?
So right now, I definitely feel a little more mobile.
Okay.
So I feel a little looser in the area. You know, like I always know when it's a tight morning or a tight day. Right now, it feels great. After the adjustment, I felt like my foot felt a little weird. Like some areas were kind of like active. I was having sensation in places that I didn't really did before.
Okay.
And doing the exercises, you're right. Like I was the calf raises were okay, but the toesies, I mean, it was completely
It was
lost.
such a struggle.
Which is, you know, it's I get it. Like it's something I see with my clients whenever they haven't used a muscle in a really long time and they forget how to use it.
Yeah.
So like I know it's gonna take some time and it's just a lot of practice and patience, but like God, I know I have to put in the work and try to make it work.
Good. So certainly we made progress here today, and I'll be interested to see, with enough repetition of a few visits over the next few weeks, if we're actually able to really shift the dial here with her range of motion to the point where she can appreciate a difference during her squat, during her golf swing, so that it's impacting her body less. Carolina?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you say that my restriction is coming more from my foot than my actual like calf and like soleus muscles?
I think it's more like your general control of all the areas. The fact that we were able to do manual therapies and it did make a difference means this is not permanent.
Yep.
And it's more about how you control yourself ongoingly, aka your foot posture, that's really out of whack and out of sync.
Yep.
And that probably started, like you mentioned, as a child from walking on your toes. And you know what? 20, 25 years of walking around in a particular way, it takes a little bit of repetition to retrain it. But there's no doubt in my mind we'll actually be able to do that, and you won't have such limited ankles affecting your life.
Well, can't wait.
So Carolina, thank you so much
you
for
so
being
much,
here.
Doctor.
I
Appreciate
appreciate you being our patient here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see our next treatment.
Thank you. So conservative and smart.